For us Muslims, the Holy Quran is the holiest book of all time. Unlike the Christian and Hebrew Bibles that contain sacred events and texts, the Holy Quran contains the exact words of God that were revealed to the messenger of Islam. That's why it's known as a miracle. Since the Prophet of Islam passed away some 1,385 years ago, Muslims from around the world have been paying tribute to the Holy Quran one way or the other.
We're here at the National Museum of Malik in Tehran to take a look at the many ancient manuscripts of the Quran on display. For over 1,400 years, Muslims have copied the verses of the Quran with beautiful calligraphy as a means of expressing their love and belief in the divine and the unseen. Have you ever heard the term Islamic calligraphy? It's the artistic rendition of the handwriting prevalent in different Islamic lands and includes Arabic, Old Turkish and Persian. The emergence of Islamic calligraphy was of course strongly tied to the Quran. Early copies of the Quran are important because they are proof of the development of the written records. The original Quranic scripts were written in Kufic, which probably got its name from a town called Kufa in Iraq. The Kufic Qurans of the 9th and 10th centuries were characterized by the use of red dots in them to represent the vowels of the text. As Islam took root beyond the Arabian Peninsula, it became necessary to establish a standard text. A beautiful cursive style called Naskh first appeared in the 10th century, and it has three variations: Thuluth, Riqa and Muhaqqaq. Even though all the Qurans in the world have an identical text, the mastery and Islamic calligraphy used in some copies have turned them into unique works of art. The Baisongori Quran is a really good example since it's one of the largest and historic handwritten Qurans out there.
این قرآن به لحاظ خط و به لحاظ کاغذسازی بسیار حائز اهمیت هست. این قرآن به خط محقق نوشته شده و چیزی که مورد توجه کارشناسان هست علاوه بر خطش کاغذ اون هست که در اون شرایط این کاغذ درست شده. این قرآن در ابعاد 105 در 187 تهیه شده و یکی از شاهکارهای هنر کتاب‌آرایی در ایران هست.
Muhaqqaq is a majestic style used by accomplished calligraphers and was considered to be one of the most beautiful and difficult scripts to execute. Unfortunately, the general use of this style lessened from the 18th century onwards. If you take a second to think how long it must have taken to write these beautiful scripts, you'd be astonished. And just like any other unique antique work of art, many different stories surround the creation of this Quran.
This copy of Quran was not written by one person. There are at least 3 different handwritings here, according to the width of their pens, the way they run on the page, according to the transmissions on this page, and the graphical form of the work. We can distinguish at least 3 different handwritings.
According to one story, this Quran was written by a Timurid prince, Ghiyas-ed-Din Baysongor, also known as Baysongor Mirza, in the 14th century. It's said that he was known as a prominent calligrapher as well as a patron of art, architecture, and Persian miniature. As another story goes, during the Timurid period, Omar Akhtar, who was a renowned calligrapher, wrote a miniature Quran so small that it could fit under the gem of a ring in its entirety. Apparently, the king, Sultan Sahib Qaran, was so offended by the small size of the script that he ordered Omar Akhtar's hand to be cut off. Omar Akhtar's reaction to this enormous injustice was to use his left hand to write the largest copy of the Quran ever written and present it to the court, forcing the king to acknowledge what a great calligrapher he had been.
کنید من یه آدم چپ دست باشم. وقتی میرسم به اینجا
Now suppose that I'm left-handed. When I get here, I can no longer see. My hand is blocking my view. So I have to leave it at some point and draw this line from above and join it. Now the junction of these two for a left-handed person is the weakest part of the work. And when you look at the places where this has happened, like here, these are the weakest parts of the writing. It's thinner, has weak and lanky stems, and has visibly been corrected with the tip of the pen. Therefore, this shows that the calligrapher was left-handed.
پس این نشون میده که خوشنویسی این چپ دسته.
When a writer steps out of his or her comfort zone, they are bound to make one or two mistakes, no matter how small or insignificant they may be. It's by spotting these mistakes that the experts can prove that the Baisongori Quran was not written by just one person.
مثلا شما میبینین در خط محقق
For example, you can see these in the Muhakkak script that are called transmission, like the ve or vav and the re, which are drawn and look like a sword, whereas in the Tuluth script it goes upwards. This was written by someone whose hand was more used to writing in the Tuluth script. Can you see the word zaytun or olive? The ze is written in Tuluth.
Considering the size of the words and the length of each sentence, it is estimated that the Baisongori Quran would have probably had around 800 or 900 pages if it were still intact. But unfortunately, most of the pages have been lost to us over the years. Maybe if we had all the missing pages of the Baisongori Quran at hand, we could dig deeper and uncover the mysteries of its past. But for now, we have to be content with what we have managed to gather and preserve. This is Gulnaz Farnudi for Iran.